Hello. Today we will be demonstrating the Process Improvements application and showing you how it will help you fuel your continuous improvement culture. At a high level, the Process Improvement application provides you with many benefits. It helps you spread a culture of continuous improvement by giving everyone a quick and easy way to submit their ideas and make sure their voice is heard. It helps you manage your projects so that you know who is doing what and everybody knows who has the ball. It helps you forecast and validate cost savings, as well as allows you to create a central location to store your process improvement ideas and verify that those ideas have been implemented. It also helps you easily understand the overall landscape of your process improvement efforts across your organization. A process improvement is any process that has gone out of control. Take a look at this standard control chart. In this case, the output variable that has gone out of control is the number of hand injuries. The way that you would reduce this number is to initiate a process improvement where you would identify what the inputs are to hand injuries. Examples of these might be glove type, glove quality, glove cost, etc. You may find that if you increase the glove quality, people will be more likely to wear them, and therefore the number of hand injuries will reduce over time. Later on in the demo, we will discuss what it means to define X's and how to create actions for people to affect those X's. Here's what the workflow looks like at a high level. Someone submits an idea that gets sent to a group of people who are experts in process improvement to determine what the next step would be. This is called the screening step, where those expert individuals would decide what level of effort will be applied to the idea. For example, the experts may choose to initiate a project based on the suggestion, or they may decide to trend the idea and analyze it again in the future based on data collected. If the process improvement experts decide to implement the idea, the next step is to put all of your ducks in a row and formalize it. This is when the problem will be restated in a concise manner and anticipated cost savings will be documented. The final step of the workflow is the analysis step. This is when the input variables are determined. You might do a 5-why analysis or a fishbone diagram or whatever process you decide is necessary to conduct the analysis. You would go into the system and document your X's. The X's come in the form of critical and non-critical X's. Non-critical X's are things that you can't work on or change. Critical X's, however, are things that you can change. Once you determine your critical X's, you would then go into the system and create actions assigned to certain individuals to affect those critical X's. Once an individual completes an action, the system will display a final workflow to verify that the actions have been completed correctly. Finally, once all actions are completed and verified, the system will remind you to specify whether results were achieved as expected. And that concludes the flow of the software. Now I'm going to demonstrate how an individual would initiate an idea. From the dashboard, you can click on the New Pie link to create a new process improvement effort. You can also have a link that will take you directly to this screen from an external location, so you won't necessarily have to be in the DevonWay platform in order to create a pie. We want to make it as easy as possible for anyone to submit their idea. Once you get to this screen, you would briefly describe the idea in the subject line, and then provide more details in the process improvement gap description. You would also specify where you're coming from. In this case, we will say facility number 1. This will help you organize your pies by different parts of your organization. Optionally, you can add a comment for reference. In this example, Jim and I talked about this, so I want to make a note about his involvement. The next thing you may choose to do is upload a file. To do this, simply go into your file system and drop the file onto the attachment. You can upload as many files as you need. You can also reference other documents that you don't want to upload in this bottom region. Now we're ready to initiate this idea and push it to the screening step. This is what the screening step of the process looks like. As a quick reminder, this is when the idea is assigned to a team of process improvement experts to determine the next step. On the left-hand side is the subject and description. You can expand the description to see all the details and data. The right-hand side contains your action items, which include assigning a lead and type. If you decide to continue working on the project, you would probably choose a black belt pie. If you decide to monitor the idea over time to decide if it is worth pursuing, you can close it out for trending. If that is the case, it would bypass the rest of the workflow and immediately close out. In this case, we are going to demonstrate what it would look like to continue working on the project. So you go ahead and assign the lead and specify the type. Once you hit complete, it will move on to the formalize step. In the formalize step, the lead will restate the problem in the problem statement field and give it an objective. They will also specify if it aligns corporately or if it only affects one team, and then state the reason why. Finally, they document the cost of poor quality. You can document the impacts in the cost of poor quality field and specify the savings category, year, and dollar amount below. Once the PI is in the validation phase, the actual savings column will become required. This is where you would track your actual savings. The last two things to fill out here are which group or functions are impacted by this PI. You can do that by clicking the Find button. This is where you will store a list of departments or organizations within your company. In this case, human resources and engineering will be affected by the PI. Lastly, you need to choose a team. Notice how the system auto-populated the lead. You can choose to add other team members as well. That's all that needs to be done to formalize the PI. Moving on to the analysis step, let's switch to a PI that's already been baking for a while. During this step, you need to document your X's. Remember, this is where you want to know the who, what, when, why, and where during our cause analysis. Once you do the analysis based on the method of your choice, you can upload it in the document section and then describe it in the main section. In this case, we did a 5-why analysis and made a note about the results in the attached file. Next, you need to document the X's in the system. As you can see, we've documented 2 of them already. In this example, we are using glove type and glove costs. These are the 2 factors that contribute to our recordable hand injuries. So if we look at glove type, this X is now in the action plan phase, which means that it now has a life cycle of its own. At this point, you would say what you're going to do in order to reduce the number of recordable hand injuries by affecting the glove type. I've created an action for this, which is to evaluate what types of gloves people are more likely to wear. Now let's create another example of an action. In this case, we will evaluate if glove color is a factor to whether people wear gloves. After that, all you need to do is assign the action to an individual and give them a due date. Optionally, you can include a comment. After submitting this, it will appear under My Action Assignments on the dashboard of the designated person. This is intended to be like an Outlook inbox for your tasks. When you receive a new task, you are also notified by email. As you can see in this example, we have 4 actions to do, one of which is the one we just created. A bold action indicates an action that has not yet been opened. That is the high-level process for PI. The last thing we're going to demonstrate is how you do some basic reporting. Out of the box, the PI application comes with some standard reports. They are located here in the standard report tile, which can be customized as needed. Let's look at the projected savings by function. This shows you the projected savings of each function over the last 3 months. As you can see, we're projecting a total of $946,000 in savings in April. And then for human resources in May, we expect to impact $150,000. These pie graphs are automatically created for you by the system. That's just one example of a type of report you can run. If you want to see the status of your overall actions, you can click on PI Action Status under Standard Reports. This report gives you an overview of any actions that are currently in the queue and whether or not they are on track or due. They are grouped by their current status. So in this case, you can see how many actions are assigned to Michael Lentz and are on track. If we scroll down, you can see how many are assigned to Michael Lentz and are overdue. The system will automatically ping this person regarding their overdue actions. Click any of the detail links to drill into the specifics of the actions. That concludes the demo of the Process Improvements application. If you have any questions, please don't hesitate to get in touch with us.